Hello everybody and welcome to my first three-man full raid. This is the Deep Stone Crypt raid, and I did it with two of my friends, and let's just say that things were very rocky. And you'll kind of see in a little bit in a lot of things. But yeah, so here's kind of three idiots three-manning the Deep Stone Crypt raid. I'll be explaining what we did and our mistakes along the way, so just kind of sit back and relax. Hopefully this shows you guys that this three-man full raid is not that hard. So if you guys want to try it for yourselves, you can go ahead. But for this first part, we're just getting the scanner, making sure that we know where all the buttons are. So dark side finished calling out, now light side's getting the callouts. So I'm just going over there and helping clear ads. And now that all four buttons are called out, I'm going to go down. And as you can see, my friend on light side died, which isn't that big of a deal because the dark side teammate can just go and res them. Meanwhile, I'm over here getting damage phase ready. And my teammates are now both up by the time damage phase is ready. Then this is pretty much just like normal, except for two people are going to be running around on both sides. So now they're both going to run over to dark side because they both want to be hitting it at the same time. Just makes surviving a lot easier, and obviously more damage it will make it faster. And Warmind cells do not do damage to the fuses, so you don't need to worry about shooting those. Now they actually patched this out recently, so you won't be able to do this anymore. What you'll have to do instead is send somebody else down as operator and just kind of switch people out. Not that big of a deal, but now you're gonna have if you have to do two-phase it, you're going to need to have to switch roles around. Again, not that big of a deal. This is all just the same as before. This encounter went fairly smoothly, other than that first death. I do believe this was our first attempt at this encounter also. And that is the first encounter completed. So now let's go ahead and move on to Atraks. Alright, so for Atraks, we have one operator stay up top, then the scanner and other guy kind of just scanner, then they just kind of float back and forth. And there were a lot of mistakes. We actually were stuck on this boss for quite a while, but once we got the hang of it, it's honestly not that hard. I think the hardest part is being able to shoot the buff off yourself. Once you learn how to do that, then it's kind of a cakewalk. So I switched over to a weapon with the ricochet rounds, so I would be able to debuff myself. We're all three up here currently, staying together for damage. Can we get this first one? The operator wants to pick up the first debuff. And then they are going to want to debuff themselves, and this is where mistake number one came in, because I could not get it to shoot myself. So I ended up getting out of that room so that I wouldn't die. Then it ended up coming up here, trying it in here, and guess what? I couldn't get it off either. So I got out of that room, then I came to this wall and I was finally able to get it off. But in the process of doing so, I also ricocheted myself, and so I died also. The good thing was I got it off my head before the timer went off. Then my teammates came up, they were able to revive me. I was able to refresh the buffs. Meanwhile, my other teammate was dealing damage so that we wouldn't wipe. Then they are going to, or I guess one of the scanner went back downstairs to go do the final damage while I cleanse the two remaining buffs. And we also had a debuff come down here, which was really cool. Nobody knew that until I was looking for another one, and I died again. This wasn't the end of the world either, though, because my teammate picked up the operator. My other teammate came and revived me. He grabbed the debuffs, and then we went in and cleansed. Then our scanner died. Just quick revive there. I got my operator back, and then it was just a rinse and repeat. We probably would have been able to get the E1 phase if I could have easily shot that off in my head. So just kind of, yeah, it's just the main part about this encounter is learning how to shoot that off of your head. We tried a bunch of different ways of doing it without shooting off your own head, but this was by far the best strategy that we could come up with. And I don't remember if we went back down and killed the servitors or if we just waited the timer out. I think we just waited the timer out because we had no more revives. And here I was kind of curious if I could take the debuff off of me inside of a bubble, which you can quite easily too. Not that that's going to be of any use anytime, but it's possible if you ever were wondering. And that is Atraks, probably one of the harder encounters in this raid, but with a little bit of practice you'll be able to do it. I'm going to skip over the jumping puzzle part because it's really just jumping and you can't wipe there. And move on to the kind of the ball encounter. And the way we did this one is we just didn't have an operator. So there were going to be 3 balls every time. And I was using Anarchy, but you don't have to use that. My new recommended loadout would be a kinetic primary weapon. So, I mean, the one that I'm using is fine, like an auto rifle or something. And for your secondary weapon, I would recommend Trinity Ghoul. And then for your heavy weapon, I would recommend using a sword. Because for suppressing the boss, you don't actually need to be fast, because you actually want to delay it a little bit. Or actually, I mean, you don't have to delay it, but there's no reason to do it fast because, well, there's no operator, so the balls aren't going to spawn for a long time. So there's no rush on getting the guy suppressed. So since we don't have a operator, we have 3 balls spawn, so that means Scanner has to call out a third chest. And that's really all the kind of difference to this encounter. We did this on our first try. This one wasn't very hard either. The reason why we don't run an operator is because then we can switch out the augments when we get locked out. We could have used the out of bounds glitch back when this was recorded, but we didn't. And now that glitch is patched, so you won't be able to do that anymore anyway, so I'm kind of glad that we didn't. And my teammate died here. Not that big of a deal, it's just one res. And they're back in the fight. Suppressor was inside of the chest, which was not good. Right here, I was thinking about switching to a sword, but then my guillotine wasn't on me, so I ended up not doing it. So the way we were doing it was, right now, scanner would call out, the side that they're on. So right now they're on right. So my two teammates are going for the right ones, and then I would just go for the third one that wasn't called out. Or sometimes I would let my teammates know where to go but it's usually easier if you just call out and then go to the odd one out for the scanner. Another tip you can do is stand at the ball and wait for your radiation to go down. Just make sure you pick up the ball before it blows up. So usually you'll want to pick it up at like 3 or 2. That was another death. Doesn't really matter. That was the final ball anyway, so they just went on and did the rest of the encounter, just run to the end. But that's going to be the encounter complete, and we can move on to the boss now. Alright, for the boss fight, we are running one Stasis Titan with Actium, or not, with a Armamentarium for 2 Ice Wall Grenades. We had a Warlock with Well, and we had a Titan with Bubble. We all were using Warmind cells to clear our sides. And then when damage phase came, then we would switch to double slugs. Or actually, I think my teammates were using double snipers, but either way, use double slugs or double snipers, both are fine. One of my teammates was my operator was using Divinity, and everybody was using Special Finisher so that we could get more special ammo. So as you can see, there's a lot right there because that's our main spot. Titan will have to do that little double slide and a melee attack to get the stun before the bad things happen. You can deposit your augment before you drop the ball in. You can also delay it even more by giving the ball back to the operator. Then another way to delay it is to use the Titan Ice Wall, or Super and Ice Wall grenades. Want to find out where he's going and then try blocking it off with ice walls. So as you can see, the boss doesn't know how to get through that until he finally broke through some of it. But with all of that delay, I now have my suppressor up and ready again, so we can drop the balls instantly again. Operator breaks the bubble, then immediately starts suppressing. Right there was very bad. I hit an ad instead of going straight. Luckily, the operator wasn't deactivated, so we could just go through it and be good. Operator broke the bubble, and then we're good. So now it's damage phase, so I'm running around grabbing ammo real quick. And then the best strategy for this is to quick swap. I'm not very good at it, so I just kind of switch back and forth between my shotguns. But if you can hot swap, then by all means do it. It's by far the best option. Otherwise, just switch between your 2 shotguns or your 2 snipers, and you should be fine. So after damage phase, it's just going to be a rinse and repeat. Switch back to your Seraph weapon, make those war mine cells, and you should be good. Again, special finishers, very useful. You can usually get away with doing 2 of them, like at the start of each round. I should have given it back to the operator right there, but I did not. So now it's going to be a little bit harder on the time, but we should be fine. Again, ice wall off the boss. I didn't have my super in time for this one, so he was able to just go straight around it. But it did slow him down a little bit at least. Right there I was trying to delay his little meteor strikes. 'Cause if you make him slam, then he can't do the meteor strikes. Right there I almost died from running through the purple. Just barely didn't get the 2 phase, but not that big of a deal. Just do another 3rd phase. Right here I was about to die, so I had to use my super, which sucks because now I'm not going to have it for delaying the boss. But I mean, when you're this close to killing the boss, you just need to stay alive. Plus I also have 2 ice wall grenades, so that should also hopefully keep him off. I have no idea why the operator got a bubble put around them that time. Because, I mean, you could just clearly see that I suppressed them before. But whatever. Luckily, operator wasn't disabled, so we could be fine. There's my 2 ice walls to block off the boss, which worked out pretty well. Other thing is you'll want to have fairly high mobility on. I would just say as high as you can go, so that you can make it towards the little chest, carry the balls faster. But this is going to be the last damage phase. I was moving into final stand. This is where snipers will probably be better than shotguns, but it doesn't really matter. You can get up close to him with a shotgun, or you can stay back and snipe him, or you can just leave anarchy on him and he'll eventually die anyway. And that's the entire Deep Stone Crypt done in a fire team of 3. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.